So y'all have seen me play different instruments on a lot of videos like this. My gear ranges from basses to multiple different guitars to amps and pedals, and I just want to show y'all what I use not only in live performances but also just in the recording process. So first up is this acoustic guitar. It's a Martin acoustic, and it's, it's Martin. It's like one of the best things I've ever played on. It's definitely a smaller body. I'm able to wrap my hand around this a lot easier than a full body Martin. And it's just something simple to play. I know a lot of people prefer probably the bigger bodies, but to me, I feel like that's more for arena tours and stuff like that. And me, I'm just like a simple person that just fiddles at home, records at home. And if I need to go and take it live somewhere, the venue's going to be, small to medium at best. So this Martin works wonders for me. I absolutely love it. It's the most comfortable thing that's, at its price point, to be honest. I got it at a deal. I know I got it at Guitar Center probably maybe like 10 years ago. I think I got it for like around $650, something like that. So yeah, this was definitely a steal around that price range. So this next guitar is something that, well, actually all of them have very special, sentimental values to me. This one is my Fender American Deluxe Telecaster. They stopped making this model back in 2014, maybe. I think that's when they started doing the change and the different approach that they're taking now. I absolutely love it. And the reason why it holds so much value to me is because I graduated college with my bachelor's, and my mom surprised me with this guitar. I'm going to keep this thing forever. So it's so comfortable to play on. I'm very much a tele-oriented player for the most part. There is like some wiggle room for other instruments, but yeah, for the most part, I absolutely love teles. So yeah, this thing is phenomenal. It's probably my oldest electric that I have. Before this, I believe I had a Gibson Les Paul. It was great. It was cool. It just was heavy, like every other Gibson Les Paul. Beforehand, I had a Gibson SG, and at a certain point, I had a Behringer Strat, in which that Strat made me hate Stratocasters from then on out. Now, I understand that is not fair to all Stratocasters out there. That thing left such a scar on me that I can't play Stratocasters. So the next guitar I end up buying is this Gibson ES-333. I'm not that much of a Gibson player. I used to be, but the necks were just always so chunky. It was just really hard to play. And it, killed my back over time, even though I was in my 20s. But this thing is so light. I believe these made a limited run back in 2008 where they were just the bare bones of a 335 model. I think from what I remember, a friend told me they were like $800 at one point. And people were just modifying them afterwards. And then another cool thing about this guitar is on the backside, and the reason why a lot of people bought these was that on the backside, you have a cavity that you can open up. And that's how people would go ahead and modify these things and put in different wiring systems and different humbuckers and stuff. I mean, different pickups and stuff like that. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why these were just so popular and why they stopped making them. I did get this thing online, and I would say it was almost double the price of what an old one cost, but that's because they're just so limited nowadays. I forgot the name of the store, so I'm really sorry about that. It was in a different state. I got this and immediately swapped out the wiring for something that's more modern, and I swapped out the pickups, and I got Lambertone pickups on this thing. So I mentioned before about not liking Strats. Doesn't mean I didn't get something with 3 pickups. Enter the Nashville Telecaster. So I normally take a very minimalist approach with a lot of my gear, including guitars. I was planning on just keeping my Telecaster and my Gibson and my acoustic, and that was going to be it. But I saw this thing, and I absolutely just couldn't resist. I've never played on a Nashville Tele, but seeing the option of 3 pickups and swapping in between all of them, I just couldn't resist. It was just, to me, it made sense because there was just a different availability of tone versus my other Telecaster. And not to mention, this is a beautiful, beautiful blue on this guitar. I absolutely love the neck because it comes with a skunk stripe. It has a Paul Faro fretboard, I believe. This is probably the one I use the most out of the 2 other electrics I have. Now, in certain videos that I've posted online, you see me playing a white bass. That is currently in a case in my closet, buried under other cases. That is a Striker bass that is, I'm not gonna lie, older than me. It's my dad's bass that he gave me when I was picking up bass guitar. It was awesome, and I was fine with it because I was only using it for a couple of live performances in my high school years, and the rest of the time I just used it for like recording purposes. So I didn't really see a need to go ahead and buy a bass until this one came along. This is my Fender Mark Hoppus Jaguar bass. I just couldn't resist. I'm a huge Blink-182 fan, and I've been interested in a Jaguar bass for a while now. I did want to upgrade from what I had previously. I was more focused on the Fender Player series because there was maybe a couple $100 difference between that and the Squier line. But for some reason, when I was interested enough to go ahead and pull the trigger, Fender was removing all these Jaguar basses, and I couldn't find it. And I really, really wanted to play that first before going ahead and playing and purchasing the Squier bass. And yeah, that was my plan until Fender rolled out this, and I couldn't say no. Granted, I understand this is probably like double the cost of what that Fender Player Series bass is, but it's a Mark Hoppus bass. The powers of Mark Hoppus are going to flow through me as I play this bass. So that's the reason why I bought it. Now, is it complete overkill for recording purposes? Absolutely. Is it going to look cool in videos? Absolutely. Is it going to look cool live if I ever play it? Yes. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm going to try and look cool playing it. But yeah, everything about this bass, like I said, is just awesome. It has a skunk stripe on the back. It has a nice fretboard. I don't recall if they started bringing back the rosewood on this or if this is still Palo Ferro. I need to double check on that. But I absolutely love this green color. Now, like I've mentioned before, I do record a lot here in my office. But I also play live occasionally with some other friends, either helping out in their music projects or focusing on my music projects. We kind of just help each other out in that sense. So I, of course, have an amp. This is my Morgan AC20 Deluxe. Now, it is in a case, so all you can see is the head right now. I first came across Morgan amps when I was at some Christian concert, I don't know, back in maybe like 2014, 2015. And I saw an artist play one of these, and I absolutely loved the tone that came out of it. And so I had to get it. Before this amp, I had an Egnator Renegade 2x12 amp. And it was great. It did everything I wanted. I just wanted something a little bit cleaner, if that makes sense. And there's really nothing wrong with the Egnator amp. I just really wanted to go ahead and get this one. I mean, the color's beautiful, and the tones that this thing has is phenomenal. So I just had to. But anyway, this Morgan AC20 Deluxe amp I found in San Antonio at a place called Lark Guitars, and I decided to pull the trigger on this one. So I sold my Egnator, saved enough to go ahead and get this one, and bought both parts. And I haven't looked back since that. I bought this amp maybe like 10 years ago, and it's still in amazing condition. It plays great, sounds great, and yeah, I can never go back to anything else. So now we're going to move on to my pedals that I have. So this is my pedal board. So I know it's not a lot, but that's fine because again, I take a very minimal approach when it comes to guitar stuff. I don't like to collect things that I don't need. And even at that point, I feel like this is a bit excessive what I do now or will do in the future. So I'm thinking about downsizing, but you know, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I have two pedals from Strymon. One of them is the Strymon Flint and the Strymon Timeline. The Strymon Flint is an excellent reverb that I use, and the Strymon Timeline, of course, is, you know, basically top of the line delay pedal. I probably scratched the base of that pedal. My next one is my H9, in which I only use that as a tuner. Yeah, the H9 pedal is great because there's certain songs that call for certain effects. Clearly, everybody has that, and I just decided to buy something that holds everything I need in, you know, a quick notice. So next up, I have 3 Overdrive pedals, and they all have different circuits. So that's how I justify buying 3 different Overdrive pedals. My heaviest Overdrive I have is this sick-ass Overdrive by Bondi FX. Pedal is based off of the Klon Overdrive pedal. That's the circuit I wanted to really have on my board to make sure that it not only sounds amazing, but just, is a basic workhorse pedal that I can use for either light overdrives or just go heavy to like borderline distortion stuff. The next one I have is my 1981 overdrive pedal. I love it so much. It's an amazing pedal. Partially why I say that is because the guitarist of Relient K makes these pedals, and I wanted to support him because I'm a massive fan of Relient K. Like, to the point of they helped me become the musician I am today. When he was building up his pedals at first, I wanted to be all in and be like, yeah, dude, I'll buy a pedal. And if I could, honestly, I'd buy like 2 or 3 more if I had the capacity to use them all. They all have different covers, which is really cool. Who knows, maybe one day I'll just do it if I have the money for it. Or you could throw them my way. So the last pedals I have on the board are probably my oldest pedals that I've had on here for like a very long time, which are my JHS Pulp and Peel and my JHS Morning Glory. The Morning Glory is a blues breaker circuit type overdrive. So as you can tell, a lot of my overdrive pedals, they're all different circuits for the sake of different tones that I can get a different feel for. So for the most part, I probably always have on that JHS Morning Glory just to give like a little bit of, pizzazz, a little bit of dirt, a little bit of grit on the music I play. And then I will turn on the 1981 pedal during choruses just to give it a little umph on anything that I'm playing on. And then if there really needs to be a big kicker in chorus or something to stand out more, then I'll turn on my sick ass overdrive pedal. And then as for my last pedal, which is the Pulp and Peel by JHS, I always have it on. That way you make sure that like everything is just sounding clear and compressed. So yeah, this is my pedal board. Very simple. I can probably simplify it even more. Maybe I will in the future, but for the most part, like, I'm really happy with it. So yeah, that's my entire rigged rundown. I've gone through amps, I've gone through my pedals, and I've gone through the guitars and basses I use. I hope you appreciate it. If you have any questions on any of the gear I use, please feel free to ask away. I'm always down to answer any questions I can and just help out in any way. So until the next time, see ya.